Even more! Even more! To be honest, I am so ready for part 4 of this list, so please, if you want even more black superheroes, just shout it out loud! And also maybe, type it out loud in those comments. Let us know. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. I am so happy to be returning once more for part 3 of our top 10 most powerful black superheroes list. Ugh, there are just so many amazing heroes out there that we still hadn't mentioned, and so I'm very excited to shine a spotlight on them with you today. So without any further ado, let's talk power sets and let's get counting. Number 10, Tempest. Angel Salvador is a Marvel mutant hero affiliated with the X-Men and the New Warriors after she was depowered on M-Day. Her mutant powers granted her insectoid-like physiology. Well, and they do now since they've been returned because Krakoa, at least I believe they have. Namely, she has insect wings which she can use to fly or to fight with, creating kinda like sonic blasts. Angel also does that too. The other Angel. Angel of the core X-Men team, the OG X-Men team. Tempest also possesses the ability to spit acid, which I think is pretty powerful, and can definitely be a surprise to those whom she fights against who may not know about that. Even when she was depowered, Angel took up the mantle Tempest and joined the New Warriors, convinced by her lover Beak. She continued to act as a hero, fighting against the Superhuman Registration Act during Civil War, and gained equipment to substitute powers, including hot and cold generating gauntlets, which gave her icy or fiery fists, or sometimes a little bit of both. Number 9, Meteor Man. Meteor Man is Jefferson Reed, a former science teacher turned superhero and the main character and hero of the film of the same name, Meteor Man. I think that parody heroes from films should count. Guess what? Meteor Man actually got a limited run of his own comic over at Marvel around the time the film was released, likely to help boost its sales at the box office. Still though, this means that Jefferson Reed actually exists in the Marvel main continuity of Earth 616. He is believed to be super strong, but perhaps not so durable based on this run. And friends, before we move on to the next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, if you want that part 4, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Also, maybe share it. Maybe someone else wants to know about some cool black superheroes. Share these lists. I think that would be nice. Number 8, Okoye. Okoye is one of the Black Panther's royal guard, the Dora Milaje. The Dora Milaje was actually an old order that had been forgotten, but the King T'Challa decided to resurrect. Initially, the Dora Milaje were also made up of not just fierce female warriors, but also those considered good potential brides for the king. T'Challa, however, was not really interested in that part of the tradition. He was kinda like, that's a little weird. So he decided to keep his relations with his guard professional, at times personal, but not really romantic. Not really his thing. Okoye is known for being one of the fiercest and most trustworthy of the Dora Milaje, and is an expert fighter, master martial artist, and tactician. And in the movie, she's just a really cool badass. Every time she pops up, I'm like, yes! Number 7, Vixen. Mari McCabe is DC's Vixen. She has been affiliated with a few superhero teams, among them one of my favorites, the Birds of Prey. As Vixen, Mari can channel the energy, abilities, and power of any animal from the animal kingdom on Earth. To do this, she uses the Tantu totem, which allows her to access the Earth's morphogenetic field, also known as the Red, and through that she can connect with any animal and then basically take on their abilities. This means that there is tons that Vixen can do, and her range of abilities, strength, agility, and speed is really only limited to the animals of the earth, so she's pretty powerful. Outside of her superhero powers, Mari is also a successful businesswoman and a capable fighter on her own besides. Number 6, Aqualad. Aqualad is Jackson Hyde. He is a hero and member of the Teen Titans who is also the son of the Aquaman villain Black Manta, and an Atlantean named Lucia. His mother is likely the source for the powers he himself inherited, such as his Atlantean physiology, hydrokinesis, and electrokinesis powers. Aqualad isn't as experienced as many of the others on our list, as he is a newer and younger hero, but we do know that he is destined for greatness. When we glimpsed into DC's potential future for the hero in Future State Aquaman, we learned that Jackson Hyde takes up the mantle of Aquaman following Arthur Curry, becoming the second Aquaman. He also promises to train young Andy Curry, who becomes his sidekick, Aqualass, and who further into the future becomes Aquawoman, a member of the future Justice League. And if you don't know Andy Curry, you should. She's also really cool. She's Aquaman's daughter. Number 5, Blade. Blade has been around in the comics for a long time, and if you're like, oh yeah, Blade, wasn't that the guy from the movie? He's also in the comics, and he's actually been around in the comics for far longer in comparison to when that movie came out. And while he might not be the most powerful member, he is now a member of the main Avengers team, which is pretty cool. Blade is Eric Brooks, a vampire hunter who was born half vampire, half human. He seeks to get revenge on the vampire who murdered his mother, Deacon Frost, who caused him to become the hybrid being or dampire that he is today. Blade currently has all the powers of a vampire without really any of the weaknesses, thanks to a bite from Morbius. Thanks, Morbius. He can go out in the daylight, but he does need to consume blood to maintain his powers and strength, or more specifically, a blood substitute, which is what he uses instead, because obviously Blade's a hero, he doesn't really want to have to go around and drink people's blood. It's kind of a villain thing. Not consuming his normal blood substitute, however, can cause him to become ravenous with hunger, which could result in him losing control and attacking others in a bloodlust. So that's kind of another weakness as well. Number 4, Ironheart. Ironheart is Riri Williams, the heir to the Iron Man mantle, except instead Riri would end up taking on her own superhero name of Ironheart. Like Tony Stark, Riri is also known for her brilliant mind and managed to gain acceptance to MIT at the young age of 15. Riri built her own Iron Man armor from scratch and without direction or blueprints, reverse engineering it herself. Her first attempt at doing so didn't really give her a super strong suit, but since that first model, Riri has improved her design and now pilots a suit that is on the same level as Tony's. When Tony initially learned what Riri was doing, he reached out to help her in her efforts to become a superhero, basically endorsing her dream. She would later go on to fight alongside Tony in the Second Civil War, and when he fell into a coma as a result of that event in his fight against Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, Riri decided to carry on his legacy, becoming Ironheart and a superhero in her own right. Yay, Riri Williams. Also, where is Riri Williams? I miss her. I need to go read something with Riri Williams in it now. This just made me super hyped. Number 3, Rocket. Speaking of another thing I'm super hyped about, Milestone Comics, hello, they're back. Rocket is the sidekick of Icon, the Superman-like Milestone hero who was featured on part 2 of this series, so if you want to learn more about him, check that out. Rocket is Raquel Irvin, a hero who is powerful just as a character for the fact that she was the one who convinced Augustus Freeman to become the hero we know as Icon in the first place, so thank you, Rocket. Rocket herself is just your average teenage girl, and while she is a skilled writer and gymnast, doesn't really have any superpowers of her own. Instead, she relies on her inertia belt, built with alien tech from Icon's ship and modified by another superhero known for his brilliance, Hardware. With her inertia belt, Rocket can absorb kinetic energy, defending herself against these kinds of attacks and then using that stored energy to protect herself and others using force fields, to fly, or to strike back against her foes with kinetic punches or blasts. Number 2, Manifold. Manifold is Eden Fessy, another mutant and an indigenous Australian, and I really hope I'm saying his name right. Fessy? I hope that's right. Manifold trained for a good time with fellow mutant and Aussie Gateway. Both mutants are known for their teleportation skills, but Manifold's mutant powers are not actually teleporting, but instead are his ability to communicate with the universe. Through this communication, he can ask the universe to bend itself to his will, allowing him to travel vast distances in an instant. So Manifold's teleportation is actually a result of the universe folding itself for him. The restriction of his powers being that they only work within his own universe, so he cannot communicate with other universes that he finds himself in and get that universe to bend to his will. And I don't think he can also teleport through 2 other universes, if that makes sense. He can also use his abilities to communicate with the universe and space to hold enemies in place, preventing them from moving, which I think is pretty powerful. Like, not only can you move anywhere, but you can also be like, hey, you can't move. That's crazy. Number 1. Black Lightning. Black Lightning is one of the most iconic and powerful heroes out there, which is why he takes our number 1 spots. To all those Black Lightning fans that were sounding off in the comments for the earlier parts, I heard you. I wanted to save him for a number 1, so here we go. Jefferson Pierce is Black Lightning, a hero from DC who can channel electricity through himself. He can use the electricity to attack villains with blasts, or defensively to do things like teleport and heal. Black Lightning recently in Future State even saw a massive power upgrade on top of his already impressive power set when it was revealed in Outsiders that he had actually become Living Lightning as a result of a magical curse, and can now exist as that form of energy. If you want to check that out, you need to go check out Future State: The Next Batman. It's not revealed exactly how this happened to Jefferson in that story, but as Future State is intended to be the future we are building to in current continuity, it's likely that we'll eventually find out how this curse happened and just how much more powerful this makes Jefferson Pierce. It looks like it makes him a lot powerful just based on what we saw him do in the Outsiders. I'm excited. Who are some of your favorite superheroes out there? Who do you think is the most powerful? Who have we still not mentioned that deserves to be celebrated? Let me know. And let us know your thoughts as well in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube.